so be mindful of what comes across your microphone and your camera. If you're not speaking, you know the drill, mute. To unmute, you hit your space bar or the little microphone down at the bottom corner. After this meeting, on this same meeting ID number, we'll have the consortium meeting, so I will not shut down after this. I'll let it run through. You guys can log out and then log back in for consortium. So Tiffany, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, well, everybody, welcome. It's a kind of an overcast Monday. I'm not quite sure what the weather's going to do today, but thank you for calling in today for our youth committee meeting. I want to welcome everybody, call the meeting to order. Do we have any new guests on the line or any introductions we need to make this morning? If not, I will ask for a roll call.
Mike Conley is just joining us. I don't know if we've introduced him in the youth committee before, but he has been introduced at board meetings previously, right?
Okay, welcome, Mike.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. I was on another meeting that ran right into this.
That's all right. It was perfect timing. I asked if there were any new attendees to introduce themselves. So you just appeared.
All right.
So that works. All right. Do we need a roll call for attendance?
Roll call.
I don't think we do. I mean, I can look up there and see who's here.
Okay. I'm just going by what's on the agenda.
Yeah, I know. Once we get back to person, we'll get back to the right rules of Robert's
Okay.
rules.
This is Robert's Rules of Zoom.
It's,
All right. So number 2 on the agenda, review and approve the March minutes. Do I have a motion to approve as presented or any questions or concerns?
I would move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have moved. Do we have a second?
Kathy Swinson, I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved as presented. And next item on our agenda is the youth roundtable results. We talked about this briefly back in March. Had some crazy ideas, and since then a couple crazy gals have taken this and run with it. So we're going to give you an update of our first youth roundtable that we had. It was a little Zoom roundtable with probation officers from all of the counties we serve. And I'm just going to throw it over, I think, to Lori first to give you an update, and Chris and I will chime in. But it was Lori, Chris Stroll, and myself. I think, Tony, you jumped in a little bit on a couple of those calls too. So Lori, you want to give an overview of how you think it went and any results?
Sure. We did meet on May 26th with probation offices from our 13 counties. And I think we might have had, was it 4 or 5 at the most counties that were represented. The ones that did attend, we just kind of did a brief overview of WIOA, the youth services, kind of how can we better serve the youth in our communities? How can we reach those youth? We had, I think some really good dialogue with the probation officers. They were very interested in learning about the program. They all seemed to have youth that they felt could benefit from the program. And we have had some referrals from the probation offices. Unfortunately, none of those kids have followed through. So, we did get the referrals. So we're reaching out to them ourselves, the kids, and hopefully, we'll be able to get some of those. But I think this is just kind of a process. This is just a starting point. And I think the probation officers, they will start sending, more referrals our way. But I thought, overall, I thought it went very well. And we were kind of disappointed not more of the counties were represented. So we did, 2 weeks later, we did schedule another Zoom meeting. And from that Zoom meeting, it was me and Tiffany and Chris. We didn't have any other probation offices join us. So we are individually going out to those counties, providing them with some information, having our case managers touch base with them just to let them know, hey, we're here. These are the services we provide. and, anything we can do to get the word about WIA out there. So, but overall, I think it went very well.
I think the most amazing thing that I saw was we were kind of hearing it through the introductions, but then we just bluntly asked the question, how many of you, is this the first time you've ever heard of this service? And every single person raised their hand. So we had a brand new audience, again, a very valuable audience. And I think it was a success, even though we had 4 or 5 counties represented. Chris, any thoughts on the roundtable?
I echo all of the things that Lori and Tiffany said. We had it down to a fine art. Like, it was an hour meeting. We wanted to make sure we were not taking up too much time, because as all of us are busy, we know probation offices are busy also, but we're also looking at taking that one step further and what that looks like, not only probation offices, but who are other people or other social service community-based organizations that serve youth in our community, and how can we get the word out to them?
Yeah. So if anyone has any ideas for a very focused roundtable, I think this model works. It's quick. People can jump on. We make it as easy as possible. I think it works when there's only 2 or 3 of us, and that can rotate. If somebody else from the youth committee wants to help with one of these roundtables, let us know. I know this week we're going to do a quick Zoom with a local superintendent of schools, just to kind of pick his brain on some issues, and see if there's a potential roundtable with some school staff that we're really not thinking of. And I think the main focus of these is trying to find the unusual voices. We think of the common people around the table, and we've talked about this for those of you that have been on the youth committee for several years. We've talked about this. Who are we missing? Who needs to be sitting at this table? And we've mentioned probation for several years. And now we've gotten them in the loop. So who else are we missing? Where are those unusual voices that, we need to reach out to and really just have a quick conversation? And that's what these roundtables were about. It was just connecting or reconnecting, having some conversation, which Lori did a great job. She had a short PowerPoint. She gave them the flyer. And then we looked for collaborations. We talked about, where we're missing opportunities to collaborate. And so I think those 4 or 5 representatives that we connected with really appreciated it. And the ones that didn't are going to find out they missed out. So
This is Kathy Swinson, and just
Yes.
because I can't not say it, I got to say it. You said they were like a clean slate, brand new audience. And I just want to let you know that when Adult Ed has APC meetings, area planning committee meetings, WIA is always invited, and they have, they go around the table like we do with these meetings and give any updates, and they always talk about the program. So,
Awesome.
they have heard about it. It's just evidently doesn't soak in. So, but it
Sure.
doesn't hurt to say it more than once,
Sure. Okay, great. And again, it might be, were they the youth probation officers, or was it probation office? Because we're finding there were different people that were possibly getting the information that
Well,
the
I know
youth
for Richland, it
officers-
was both.
Okay. And you're right. I mean, we're so inundated with information that,
Yes.
maybe pulling them aside by themselves helped. I don't know. So we have to
It
use
can't hurt.
multiple
and it's a group
approaches.
that we should be working with. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, and
Thank-
it might have been too, we focus specifically on the youth. And, they might know about, some of the adult programs, but specifically the youth, that might be a possibility also. But there were some new faces and names that I did not recognize. So if we can reach these new folks that are in the probation offices, that are great. That's great.
Okay. Any other?
Tiffany,
Yeah, Mike.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a couple of questions, and it's kind
Sure.
of based on my honestly ignorance of the system on the ground a little bit. So the programs that we're talking about here in terms of youth, is this paid work experience primarily, or what are the programs that are available? Are they all employer-based program? I mean, you know what I mean, wage assistance programs, or?
Well, we specifically talked about work experience because that is the one area right now that we are drastically lacking in. We have, we're not going to meet that 20% minimum of work experience, but this included, we touched on OJT, the work experience, also classroom training, GED, things like that. So it kind of, it was kind of a broad thing, but we focused on work experience.
Okay. I mean, and I asked that just in the context of whether we're able to build this into another program that would make it more attractive. In other words, kind of, I'm always thinking about apprenticeship because of my background in that. But if you combine the paid work experience and you get an employer on the other end to commit to a sort of apprenticeship model where that opportunity youth or in-school youth is all three things at the same time, education and working and
we also have,
training.
youth that have been in work experience, if they work out well at some of these businesses, we talk OJT with them.
Right.
It can transition into OJT. Same with classroom training. Employers are wanting skilled workers.
Right. Well, and the challenge is to make the employers understand that they should go ahead and employ them while they're unskilled and then make them skilled while they're working for them because they want a finished product, and that just isn't going to happen, particularly with populations like we're dealing with here, with opportunity youth, with people who are just coming from impoverished backgrounds and things like that. You're just not going to get the perfect candidate every time. You're going to have to do some work on them, and I don't know how to. I mean, it sounds like I don't have the answer of how you convince employers to do that because everyone I talk to gets the same answer too. But
people going into work settings where they might have a 1-year certificate or a 2-year degree, a lot of the employers, they want to train them their way.
right.
So, and we can help with that too.
I think you make a good point, and I think we just keep continuing to have those conversations. We know from what we're hearing from business and industry, they all need employees. All of them do. There are signs up and down the highways, no matter where, if I'm in Clark County, Coles County, Effingham County, there are billboards and signs everywhere for employers that are looking for skilled employees or sometimes just employees that will show up to work. That is as simple as it is in some places. And keep having those conversations because I think education is going to change, but so is business and industry, and trying to find the best way to bring us all together to best serve business and industry, community members, keeping businesses open and keeping people in our area to fill those jobs.
Right.
I don't know how to do that either, but I think we just keep working on it.
Right. I mean, and that's the concept I'm trying to voice is that I don't know how to do it, but it seems like we have to create a way that they can envision this and see how it's going to be successful, and maybe they're just struggling to put all the pieces together in their own mind. And if we can do that for them somehow, maybe that would be a way to break through.
I was going to say, I agree wholeheartedly, Chris, because now is an opportune time for WIA folks to reach out to employers and get them to partner because they need help so bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be a lot more willing to work with us right now. So great opportunities out there. When things are down, that's when we can move in and help. So great time to build those relationships, I think.
Anything else? Any questions about the roundtable? And I apologize, Mike. Is this your first official youth committee meeting?
So. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's do Mike a favor, just in case he knows everybody. It's just a refresher, but we usually go around and introduce ourselves at the beginning of the meeting. And I apologize, we've gotten lazy with Zoom and everything. But welcome to the meeting, Mike. We're glad you're a part of our group now. We appreciate your questions. There's no crazy question, especially in this group. So we're all kind of in the same boat, wanting to help LWIA and CEFs and provide the best services they can. So I'm Tiffany Mackey. I'm a CED Community Development Educator with the University of Illinois Extension. And I've been a LWIA board member and been a part of the youth committee for several years now. Chris, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, Mike. Good to see you again. Chris
Yeah.
Stroll, Dean for Workforce Solutions and Community Education with Lakeland College. Been on the WIA board for 3 years, something like that. Been on the youth committee the entire time I've been on the board.
Okay, how about Amy?
Hi, this is Amy Delaney. I'm the director of the Transition Center in Perkins Grant. Oh, I'm sorry, was it Amy Corbin?
Oh, we do have two Amy's. It's the Amy show. No, Delaney, you go, keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, I work for IECC and I help support as much as I can with this group here.
The other Amy, Corbin. Oh, you're muted, Amy. Amy C. Here, Amy, we'll let you work that out. I'll jump over to Dave.
Hi, I'm the director of the Mental Health Center in Sullivan, Illinois, which is Moultrie County. Mike, I didn't catch what your role is. Could you explain that to us?
Sure, absolutely. I have a couple of different roles. I work for Kaskaskia College as Director of Workforce Engagement and Career Services. I'm also on the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board, and I'm the chairman of the apprenticeship committee for the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board. So most of my experience in workforce has been on a volunteer basis, and honestly, I sort of took this job as a way to embed myself in it a little bit more and kind of see what was happening at the ground level and try to make more of those connections between what's happening at the state level and what's happening here in the local. So nice to meet you and all of you.
Amy, are you back on? No. Okay. Just wave. Or you could type. Amy, can you type in the chat? Okay. That'd be perfect. Kathy?
Hi, I'm, excuse me, Kathy Swenson. I'm actually retired.
She loves us so much that she just stayed.
I work for Illinois Eastern Community Colleges. I'm currently working part-time helping with a couple grants, but I worked for Illinois Eastern for about 22 years. My first position with them was in workforce. It wasn't WIO at that time. It was still JTPA, but worked as a dislocated worker case manager and have always been involved with the workforce side of the house. So been involved in the consortium and youth meetings and things like that. But yes, seriously, September will be my last meeting, and then I'm not going to work anymore after that, other than teaching a few online classes. So unless somebody just really needs me for something, you'll all let me know, right?
I'm having trouble.
Okay. Mike, do you know the staff? Okay. So unless you guys just want to say your names to feel a part of the process. Say hi, Jamie.
Okay, I'll speak. I'm Jamie Corda-Hajawi, the director for LWIA 23 at Lakeland College. I am joined today by Debbie Whitaker, our fiscal coordinator, and the Tony Lowe, our operations compliance manager. We are LWIA 23 staff. Good to be here.
And then that last but not least, Lori keeps us rolling.
Hey, Mike, Lori Jennings. I work for CFS and I'm the Workforce Program Director. I've been here, this will be my 28th year. I started when I was like 15 and I was on a contract. I was only supposed to be here for 6 months. So 28 years later, you know, I went through JTPA, WIA, now WIOA, seen a lot of changes in the workforce system throughout those years. So welcome.
All right. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Lori and Elaine, if she's here, to give us a report on activities, programs for youth.
Elaine is not with us this morning. I have, something must have came up. So I'm going to give just a brief report. DCO began their financial programmatic monitoring on May 3rd. This was a combined fiscal and programmatic monitoring. We had a soft exit that was provided by DCEO on May 27th. They addressed some potential findings that required some corrective action. We were given the opportunity to kind of address those, and we are still waiting on that final letter from DCEO to see exactly where we are at. Staff have been real busy preparing for the summer semester with outreach to the colleges, recruiting, and trying to get some new customers enrolled into the youth programs. We have scheduled some Meet with CEFS WIA representative days in July at the area colleges. We will be at Cluthy here in Effingham on July 21st. We're going to be at Lakeland on main campus on July 28th. We've got some tentative dates set up at IECC. Albany, we're going to be there July 27th, and Lincoln Trail on July 20th. And still working with Mike. We're trying to get something set up in Kaskaskia also. We're looking forward to getting in Kaskaskia, see if we can get some folks for Fayette and Marion counties down that way. All of the WIO offices are open to the public except for the one stop here in Effingham. We're hoping the one stop opens later this summer. CMS was in the center on June 9th. They did a walkthrough. They're looking at each center in regards to safety, location, COVID cases, things like that. Security is still a real high priority. And hopefully we'll know in the next month or so where we are as far as those opening dates. We currently have 61 customers receiving career and or training services in the youth program. We've exited 46 customers as of this date, and total numbers served of youth is 107. And we're still, I can't, push this enough. We're still recruiting youth, still those out of school youth, 16 through 24. If you know any, youth you'd like to refer to one of our offices, that would be great. Any work sites, that we could get developed also, but that's one thing we are continually working on. So any help with that would be greatly appreciated. And then I'm going to move, can I screen share, or Jamie, can you get it where I can screen share and I will go over the youth performance stuff?
I'm going to make you a co-host and wait about 3 seconds and you should be able to share.
Okay. Okay. Okay, what you're looking at is our IWDS. It's the Illinois Workforce Development System. This is what we use. And this is our performance. This is for program year 2020 through program quarter 4. On the top, you're going to see all of the youth performance measures. As of Thursday, we were meeting the youth measurable skills gain, but over the weekend, they updated the system. We're now exceeding that. We're exceeding all those measures except the youth credential attainment rate. And this is not going to change for us. That rate is based on customers who exited between January 1st of 2019 through December 31st of 2019. So we're not going to have any other youth go into that measure. So this is where, it's going to be a fail. Unfortunately, you look down across, we've got all these exceeds. We have that one meet on the adult side, but we can exceed every one of them. We have one fail. Our overall outcome is fail. So, as of this point, there's no incentive monies related to our performance. There's no sanctions. We might get a little technical assistance, but this actual outcome for us, it's off by one customer. If we would have had one more customer in that measure, we would have met that. So, we worked with the state on this quite a bit, and we went back and forth. Even we let them know during performance negotiations, this was the one item we were really concerned with, and they didn't budge. I mean, we tried to get that lowered, so we could meet that, but they wouldn't budge on it. And so that's, I think, going to be the bottom line for us. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay.
I
But
think
Lori,
considering the
Lori, I do
circum-
have a, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, considering the current circumstances in a year of COVID, I think everything looks really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, everything else looks really good. I'm still kind of disappointed about the credential attainment rate on the youth side, but it's with the young population. We have, they start school, they drop out. It's kind of a crapshoot. You don't know, how many are going to end up, completing, and it happens. It does happen. It's still, we're still disappointed with the number on that, but especially with it, it'd be different if it was 10 we were missing by, but one that, that's hard.
Mhm. So Lori, remind us again, I mean, we're not used to seeing a fail. Are there any consequences?
No, I mean, at this point, there used to be
Mhm.
incentive money tied to performance.
Right.
And they haven't been doing that. So I don't,
Sure.
even if, there was some money tied to it, we'd still get it on the adult and dislocated worker side. We just might not get, incentive money, for youth.
Mhm.
There's no sanctions against, our workforce area. They might come in and, do a little technical assistance,
Mhm.
but, I don't see anything more than that happening.
Sure, sure. And like Kathy said, it was, a special cause year and a lot of things playing into it. And like you said, we missed it by one. It would be different if it was a larger number. So I was just interested to know from the state's perspective or funding perspective, if it's black and white or if it's gray, and if there are any consequences. So
Yeah, we missed it by a hair, unfortunately.
yeah. Okay. Well, you guys do an amazing job, and to not have to deal with this all the time, we kind of get used to your exceeding wonderful performance. So, but
We do
life happens.
too.
So
Yeah, this is very disappointing. This one hurts.
Sure.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. Next on any questions for Lori on any of her reports today? If not, we'll move to other business. Does anybody have any issues, concerns they want to throw out there? This is a good time to kind of do a round robin and get topics or ideas out there to put on our agenda for discussion. Oh, good. Amy Corbin put her stuff in the chat. The only other business I have is, typically when we're meeting in person, we were pulling in resources in the area that we thought would make good guest speakers, good resources that the youth committee could benefit from knowing about or knowing more about or engaging in conversation with. So I know our next meeting, hopefully, fingers crossed, Jamie, right, will be in person. Look at her. She's like tilting her head. But we need to be thinking about kind of getting back into that routine. I liked infusing some new ideas, new people into the group as guest speakers. And so if you know of anyone, a resource out there that we need to be refreshed on or something brand new that we need to know about, let Tony or Lori, I know about it, and we'll make sure we look at possibly adding them to the agenda for September. Okay. Anything else from anybody from the group? Okay. And again, going back to our original roundtable idea, and again, what Lori said about out of school youth, 16 to 24, it's really tough finding those right now for the services. So if you know, again, of a segment of the community that, again, needs to be reminded or just needs to be introduced, that would be a great area of interest for the next focus group, Zoom meeting, roundtable, whatever we want to call it. So let us know if you think there's a segment out there that we're just overlooking or just needs to be brought back into the fold. Okay.
With the number of counties that we serve in this LWA, there may be something that serves 1 or 2 counties better than it serves another county. So
Right.
if there's something specific in your county that's going on that the youth committee can be part of, or that we can do a Zoom call and do our little spiel to them, please remember, it doesn't have to be something that fits all 13 counties.
Right.
It can fit 1 or 2 counties. We bring them in and we do something with that group of people. Because the superintendent that we're going to meet with later this week, we really just want to pick his brain. He's an experienced superintendent in the area. Pick his brain as to, so a student that's registered as a sophomore, but then isn't in high school, their junior and senior year, how do we get to them? Where are they? And that's that out of school person that is 16 to 24 and didn't finish high school. How do we find them? How do we get them in GED classes? And how do we help them understand what the youth program can do for them and how we can best serve them? It looks different everywhere, but how do we do that? And how do we find those kids? I think Lori and Tiffany and I have sat around like beating our heads, like, how do we find these kids? We know they're out there, but they are the most vulnerable population in some of our communities. And they are definitely underserved, but where do we find them and how do we get to them and help them not only get a referral to our program, but then come in and learn about the services?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get off my soapbox.
And you're right, Chris, it's not just about finding them. It's like what Lori's experiencing down from those referrals from our probation officers is how do we get them motivated enough to follow through? And get excited about the potential opportunities. So if anybody has any ideas, holler. All right, any public comments? All right, hearing none, I'll move on to closing remarks. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, but it looks like our next meeting will fall on September 20th. And again, in person, fingers crossed.
We are very hopeful that it will be in person. We are also considering a hybrid model as well, but that is going to
Okay.
depend on the location of where the in-person part takes place and what technologies are available.
Okay.
Just missed in person for this meeting. Had the decision come out a little sooner to open up campus, we would have made it happen, but it's just too close to call. So September, I do want you to kind of feel a little bit more confident. There will be an in-person option, and hopefully it will be a hybrid model. So I just feel like that's a lot better for accessibility for everyone. But we'll see. Just stay tuned, read those monthly newsletters I send out, because that's where the information is.
Okay.
Next meeting,
20th.
September 20th.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. So again, if you've got some ideas about where we should be reaching out to and a potential new resource guest speaker for our September meeting, please let us know. Besides that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Kathy Swinson, I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Chris.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Hi.
And all those opposed, stay on the Zoom call. Thank you, guys.
I will be ending this meeting. I told you guys at the beginning I would not, because consortium is going to be on the same ID, but I think I have the setting wrong where people can't get back in. So I'm going to get out, try to change that setting, and then start it back up again in just a few minutes here. So Don't freak out. I'll be back online.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.